Hi, good evening. Some of you must be against legalizing marijuana, right? But are you aware of why some want this substance to be legalized entirely? Public opinion about legalizing marijuana entirely is less divided today. We offer See or Hear, the preventative program that originated here in Los Angeles, California, which we all know as DARE, Drug Abuse Resistance Program, that believes that the dangers of marijuana have been exaggerated. How come a lot of kids are still taking drugs at the age of 12? And even though there's 75% of the nation's school district are participating in this program, we still hear that students are always using drugs. Why? And then we find out that the tobacco or alcohols, they're illegal. Aren't they addictive? Drug tests are done at school, but it never stopped students ages 12 and over to take drugs. Did you know that many years ago, marijuana used to be used as a substance or something to aid people with their ailments? In this speech, I will extend more details about the history of marijuana, and I hope that I can convince you that marijuana should be legalized to its entirety. History about marijuana started like with China and in India, where they use it as a medical purpose and religious ceremonies. In the 19th century, some doctors also, both in US and in Europe, has adapted to treat a variety of conditions. And one of the most patient or well-known patient that we have is the Britain's Queen Victoria. And then around 1900, the Congress passed the Marijuana Tax Act to make the substance illegal. But it was followed in 1956 that narcotics should be stricter. And they also adapted it to have marijuana be increased as well. Beginning in the 1840s, American physicians began to prescribe marijuana for pain, depression, and insanity as a reliever. It was widely available for purchase in drugstores, even in high dosages. Will you believe that? According to medical anthropologist Mariel Singer, marijuana was the most commonly prescribed pain medication in the United States until 1901. Medical marijuana became legally available to some people in the United States because of the 1978 Investigational New Drug, or IND, Compassionate Access Program. Today, there are 12 states that have legalized medical marijuana, but it does not override federal law or provide effective legal protection for medical marijuana users. You know why marijuana is a beneficial form of medication? Have you heard of what it is being used for by these sick, ill patients? Marijuana alleviates the symptoms of glaucoma and multiple sclerosis. It suppresses the nausea resulting from chemotherapy, and it stimulates the appetites of AIDS victims. Did you know that even the sick and the dying patients, or even doctors or healthcare workers, they tell to the government about how marijuana can help minimize their suffering? We are talking about real life-threatening sickness. Something not even Tylenol or any other kind of aspirin can do. Instead of experimenting on something else, why can't the government do or use the funds being used for this medicine or this substance being against this marijuana to fight crimes violent crimes, we always hear killing here and there. Hopefully my next point will give you clearer understanding why we should legalize marijuana entirely. The government has enough funds to arrest marijuana users anyways. Marijuana, did you know that if it becomes legal, the government can put the allocated money against marijuana for better purposes, such as arresting violent crimes or taxing the marijuana users and dealers. If marijuana will be legalized, unauthorized sales will be arrested or penalized, or like the black market cigarettes. And if the drugs are decriminalized, existing laws against trafficking would likely stay on the books, and traffickers would still face harsh penalties. In addition, the law would deal firmly with abuse of the drug and less expense for the government and taxpayers. Did you know that in September 2008, drugwarfacts.org website has posted information from the FBI Uniform Crime Reports 2007. They said that the total US arrests are 14,209,365 people. Out of this, 872,720 arrests were because of marijuana trafficking and possession. What a big difference. Almost 300,000 people were being arrested just for marijuana. Compared to violent crimes, arrests of 597,447. Why not focus on arresting more crimes that affect other parties, right? There are a lot of other issues and crimes that are more important than arresting people who are using marijuana and are not affecting anybody. We have to consider that this substance is just any other drugs available. It could be addictive like other drugs over here, right? But we are talking about marijuana. It is something that can be used as a medical purposes for such ailments that are really, really needed by AIDS victims or people with cirrhosis. I think it is justifiable for the government to step in if it is being abused. These two other addictive components, tobacco and alcohol, why is it in the market? The government has certain laws about it. Laws can do that to marijuana too, even if it is 100% legally available. Laws can be in place about marijuana, but it should be approached like tobacco and alcohol. If our concern is the teen abuse, then do it. But drug testing will not stop teens to use drugs. Drugs do not choose who could take it. It can be a grown-up person or it could be a 12-year-old kid. Even though it is illegal, students tend to be addicted to it. Why? Because you do not have to be 21 years old to buy what? Marijuana. But drug testing or prohibition to use drugs will not stop anyone to use it. What we need is an open discussion about this drug and treat it like a tobacco or alcohol consumption. Remember, marijuana is legal for medical purposes. But even for pleasure, we should legalize it. It is something that if it is abused, then yeah, go ahead and put the law in it. Just like with cigarettes, or if you get into an accident because you are what? You are high in alcohol. This has never been a problem, even to the users if they take cigarettes or drink alcohols, right? It is very beneficial for sick people to have marijuana. So there is nothing wrong with marijuana, unless you really abuse it. I hope I have convinced you that it is good to have marijuana as a legal substance in its entirety and not just for medical purposes. Thank you and have a good night.